Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way. And today, I'm going to tell you about my dream electric unicycle. So, let me tell you more about it.
Wrong way.
Today, you join me in my garden, actually. I've recently moved places, and everything is everywhere, and honestly, I've just put all of my wheels into my car right now because there's just so much stuff in there that I can't handle it. And that's why I thought maybe a good idea for a video would be to tell you guys what my actual dream EUC would look like, because in the past years we focused so much on performance, on making them look angry, have more volts, more weight, more features, be more complicated, and you might be actually surprised, but I kind of want a different thing than that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to tell you about today. With that said, if you do want to get a electric unicycle right now that is out there on the market, feel free to check out monokolo.eu. Use my coupon code WRONGWAY to acquire yourself a brand new electric unicycle. You will receive a 5% discount if you use my coupon code WRONGWAY. All right, so let's just get into it. It is raining, but luckily I am under a balcony, so it's not raining on me. All right, so first let's start off with the idea. I feel like electric unicycles right now have become those sort of dirt bikes, and they have so much performance, they look angry, they have like torque and power and everything, but really the reason why I started out riding on electric unicycles was because they were small, portable, they still packed a punch, like the performance was there, just not like insane like we have today. So my dream electric unicycle, first of all, will need to be pretty and friendly. I would just want to make this thing look like a Vespa or like this old VW bus, like to have some color, to have like nice textures and just look more round than like all of those tank-looking angry things that we have out there on the market right now. Well, of course, there is still the Emotion V8 and other more round-ish electric unicycles, but most of them, they look angry. So yeah, this thing would need to just look friendly, more round, just a bit more, you know, pleasant to the eye, pleasant to the pedestrian that is just coming along, and not make him look scared the second he sees a freaking Leaperkim Oryx on a bike path. The next thing I want it to be, just as an idea, I want it to be super robust. I want this thing to last forever. I have the same rule for, you know, the bicycles I buy. I just bought a Marin bicycle that is made out of steel, and this thing has a lifetime warranty for the frame. And maybe lifetime warranty is not something possible with electric unicycles, but I would just want this thing to last for ages. So when you buy it, you can actually use it for 10, 20 plus years. It would just maybe need a battery replacement or, you know, controller replacement at some point. So just as a sort of global idea, I would want this thing to be fun, just like the electric unicycle I started riding out on, the Emotion V10F, but still be great with transportation from getting from point A to B. I would not want it to be like a performance monster, like a dirt bike that can do all of the trails and all of the inclines and jumps and etc. I would want it to be more like it does great at commuting, and it's very convenient, nice, and friendly. But also, if you actually want to, you can do some stairs, some hops, and some minor fun stuff, like stuff that you would do maybe on a skateboard or on a BMX bike. By the way, excuse the setup here. It's literally just me, this mug from my girlfriend, and my plant that is somehow alive throughout all of these years. Let's call him Gerald. I don't know, I had this idea. Meet Gerald. He's on a seat next to me. So yeah, because of the move, yeah, I'm very tired. I have lots of stuff to do. I have lots of stuff in general, especially for electric unicycles. So that's the best I can do. So if you approve of this, leave a comment below and like the video, because this is how YouTube works. If you want to be a creator that earns money here, then, you know, the likes and the comments help a lot. Thank you so much. So we will move on to the features in a second, and I have actually some I would say groundbreaking features, maybe even. I want to be still humble, but I think those things would actually really help in the electric unicycle world. But first up, let's talk about the specs, because we all look at specs. So let's see what Mr. Wrongway would say are like his dream specs for an electric unicycle. And first of all, I would not want this thing to be heavy. We have so many heavy electric unicycles out there on the market, and that is good, but I feel like the lighter segment, especially under 20 kilograms, except for Begode, is pretty much uninhabited when it comes to new developments. So I would want this thing to be between 20 to 30 kilograms. Why such a big weight range? Well, this is because a lot of the weight depends on the battery, and we'll move on to the battery in a second. But under 20 kilograms is awesome, because this is, I would say, the maximum weight limit that is still somewhat comfortable for me to carry upstairs in my hand, just using one hand. So under 20 kilograms would be optimal and amazing. You could even go further as to say, 15 kilograms would be amazing, but with the specs that I have, I don't think it's currently possible, but the lighter, the better. And 30 kilograms, maybe up to even 32-ish, is the top weight limit for me of like a nice long range electric unicycle, because everything over that starts to feel a little bit too difficult to control for me. Like, don't get me wrong, I can still control those in electric unicycles. It's just not as precise, and it's just not as easy to handle them. So depending on the battery, from 20 kilograms will be amazing, up to 30 kilograms, top weight limit would be great. When it comes to the battery, according to the weight that I just said, from 1200 watt hours, that would be like my bottom limit, because this is a battery that can still get you up to maybe 45, 50 kilometers, depending on your riding style. So for everyday commutes, this is plenty, and sometimes you wouldn't even need to charge like every day to get to work, etc. And with this size of battery, you can still get plenty of performance like we've seen on the Aero, and yeah, you can still charge it fast and have good enough decent range. On the top end, I would say the battery would be 3200 watt hours like we had on the OG Sherman, and with this kind of battery you could get up to 100 kilometers, maybe even above. So this would be sort of the long range option of my dream EUC. So really, this is a bit of a spectrum, and the weight here depends on how much battery, what the battery pack size would be. But of course we would need to have high performance cells, so my choice for that would be the Samsung 50S with high discharge rates, a good quality, and good capacity as well. When it comes to top speed, I would cap it at 45 kilometers an hour, honestly. You don't need more, especially if you're out there on the bike paths. Just ride as fast as bikes do. This is sort of the safety margin that I have in my head. You can go downhill on a bike 45 kilometers an hour or 50. I even went 55 kilometers an hour on my bike. But typically, just have your 25 kilometers an hour or 30 kilometers an hour riding speed, and then you have something to, overtake. Or if you're off-roading and there's like not a single soul or animal around, then you can go faster. The free spin speed, I would say maybe 75 would be nice, just to have like tons of headroom. So if you actually reach the higher speeds, you're not already in a danger zone where you're already at the limit of the EUC. You're more like, okay, you're going to top speed, and that's it. It's still safe to do so. When it comes to torque, tons. I mean, you know me, I love my inclines. I love torque on electric unicycles, the acceleration feeling. So I wouldn't put any cap on that. if it's possible to pull a truck with this EUC, hell yeah, why not? There is no harm in that. It's also great for heavier riders as well. So it would have to go up a 45-degree incline at least. Next up, we have the rim. I would say that the optimal choice for electric unicycles is somewhere between 12 and 14 inches. I loved my V12 until it had some electronic issues. I loved my Nikola 84 volt. I love the wheels that have a 16-inch tire, like the outer tire diameter, but the rim is 12 inches. But honestly, for stability and the options when it comes to tires, 14-inch rims are the best. So I would go with a 14-inch rim And actually, I would select a sort of mild hybrid tire. I wouldn't want to have like a, Kenda, I have it even here, Kenda 262, although this might be even a CST. I wouldn't want such a hard knobby tire. Maybe I would even select something close to this that is on my pedal unicycle. And this is, well, maybe like 14 by 2.5 inches or 14 by 2.75. I think this is really a good sweet spot. You have plenty of BMX tires to choose from, as BMXs have those 14-inch rims. At least that's what I believe. I might be wrong, but I think I'm right. And with those lighter tires, you will get more range. They are quieter, they're easier to put on. They might be tube tires or tubeless. I am not really a strong opponent of either one of those. I would just want those lighter tires because they're more responsive, they have more range, they're easier to put on once again, and they're also lighter. So I would go with a 14-inch rim, which means sort of a 18, 19-inch outer tire diameter with a sort of BMX style tire, or those old CST, oh, I forgot the name. I can't remember the number. But we had those tires on the Bigode RSs, on the Gotway MSXs, like those lighter e-bike sort of style tires, which means 14 by 2.75 inches. That's what I would go for. When it comes to the material of the electric unicycle, I would definitely not go back to the plastic shells that we had back in the day. Those were very prone to destruction and problems. So I would go for a magnesium shell like we have today on NOSFET wheels, on Liebherr wheels, and a hollow motor design, because honestly, there's plenty of EUCs that I would like to ride, like maybe I would even give the V12 Pro a try. I would even ride an old Veteran Sherman OG, but they just don't have a strong axle. So it would either need to be a hollow motor or a very strong axle, because this is the thing that is stopping me from, riding a older style electric unicycle that has no suspension compared to suspension EUCs that already have this stronger axle. So it would need to be a hollow motor and a magnesium shell. I didn't write it down here, but probably I should have, because I don't want this electric unicycle to have suspension. It needs to be suspension free. I don't want the hassle. I don't want the options. I want the smaller form factor. I want the I want the easier maintenance. I want the cheaper price. When I buy bicycles, I don't buy bicycles that have suspension for the same reason. Like, it's good enough for the use case that I have to not have any suspension. I would not want suspension. I feel happy enough without it. It's nice to have this tactile feeling, this sort of BMX skateboardy vibe on an electric unicycle for me. It's lighter, as I said, easier maintenance, and still plenty of fun. Like, it wouldn't be able to do fast off-road trails, but that's not really something that I'm after. I prefer to explore. I like to do sort of trial-y tricks, like on trials bikes, some inclines, some tricky maneuvers, and for this stuff, I've done plenty of interesting stuff on electric unicycles without suspension. And again, no hassle with suspension. And even with the newest designs that we have that are already pretty stellar on NOSFET and Liebherr, you still need to maintain it. There will be still sounds. It's still more flex in the shell. The pedal height still changes according to how much the suspension compresses, so it won't be as nice in turns. It won't be as, predictable. Now, of course, it comes with a drawback of, you go into a pothole and you might be surprised with what happens. It will be less comfortable, but honestly, that's a trade-off I'm willing to make. All right, that has been the specs. Let's go to the features I wanted to talk about. And it starts to rain more and more. All right, so when it comes to features, there's actually plenty of them. I think that's the biggest point on my list. And the first, which is very important to me, is make an electric unicycle with a built-in charger. God damn it. How hard can it be? The chargers that we have usually weigh about a kilogram. There's vector chargers from Ukraine that weigh about 500 grams. If my electric unicycle is 500 grams heavier, I don't mind really. If I don't need to carry this 500 grams or with a actual, enclosure for the charger, it would be more like 700 grams or even more. I feel this 700 grams in my backpack, and I need to remember about it. And when I go to a store, I need to take out the charger, need to plug it in, and then people see a charger, so it's like, oh, are you stealing electricity? And while, I'm happy to pay for electricity, I don't mind. It's just like the fact that you have this bulky thing connected to your electric unicycle. It's just, I feel like we can do better. So I would want to have a built-in adjustable charger in an electric unicycle. Probably they could even use the motor as a AC/DC converter. So we could have this, and I want this. And just to have this cord inside of your backpack, or even have some sort of small storage in an electric unicycle to keep the cord inside, would be an absolute great game changer, because there's no moment when you ride on electric unicycles where you do not want to have a charger with you. It's always better to have it with you. You go further, suddenly you change your mind. That's what I have on a bicycle. I can just go further, I don't care. And with a electric unicycle, I either have to have a big bulky electric unicycle with a lot of range to not carry a charger, or a small one and remember to take the charger with me. So I think this would be a very good option. I would want this charger to fast charge the wheel when I want to in 30 to 40 minutes, and slow charging 4 hours, 6 hours, I don't mind, just to be quiet. Like, I want this thing to be quiet as well. As an additional option, we could also have a pass-through port or a pass-through plug. So you could like daisy chain a couple electric unicycles together. So you could like use one plug, one wall plug to charge a couple electric unicycles at the same time. Of course, then we would need to have some sort of software, or the rider would need to remember what is the maximum amperage you can pull out of the wall plug. But honestly, I think that would be pretty cool. Next up on features, of course, we have to have all of the new features that we have on our current electric unicycle. So a smart BMS, UL certification, and it would be really awesome to have solid state batteries, but I don't think that's yet to happen, especially just for EUCs. But nevertheless, there will be something cool. But for the time being, Samsung 50S should be good enough. Next up, I want this thing to be absolutely cutout proof. I made a poll a while back on my community tab in YouTube. You can check it out yourself. And honestly, every brand has about 10% of votes to the writer saying that they had a random cutout on an electric unicycle. And this is honestly terrible. Like, imagine every 10th bike, the front wheel just locks up and you fall. Ridiculous. So, and on Bigote, it's even worse than that. You can check out the community tab for it. But I would want this electric unicycle to have absolute cutout prevention. I know it's not probably physically possible to make it 100% cutout proof, but at least make it like 99. So there should be Hall sensorless. So there should be Hall sensorless riding mode. So if the Hall sensor wire, Hall sensors get damaged, the EUC can still ride, like we have on LibraKim and NOSFET. But maybe there could be even some additional cutout prevention via software, via a daughter board or something, so to eliminate those cutouts almost entirely from a possibility when riding. Because honestly, this is probably one of the biggest things that keeps people from riding electric unicycles and getting them. The next thing here, I have easy to change battery and tire and parts. So essentially, this thing should be very modular. Now we see it a lot on NOSFET nowadays. I think those are the wheels that are the easiest to work on. So just a couple screws to change a tire, that would be awesome. You know, a couple screws to change a battery, and have those batteries actually available for the customer, so you can, you know, change it very easily once you ride for 5 years, 10 years, you want a new battery. It should be just very easy to do that swap. So, or you have maybe 2 batteries at home and you can, change them. But that probably would also mean a little bit more risk, because batteries could have a different, capacity after a while, etc., etc. But yeah, make this thing modular, make it easy to work on, and make it reliable, essentially. Is it a feature? Yeah, I guess the modularity is a feature. Next up, we have water resistance. Of course, thing needs to be water resistant. I keep my bikes outside. I can't keep my EUCs outside really, unless they're under a shed. So if we could make an electric unicycle that is actually like 100% no worries, leave outside like a motorcycle, that'd be great. I think there's already some that do that, but just something to point out here. Next up, I think it would be actually really cool to make an electric unicycle that you can build at home. So some of the cost of making an electric unicycle is actually assembling it, and I think it would be kind of cool to have a box that you get like from IKEA that you just need to assemble. If it's modular, you could just do it at home. Now, of course, it comes with a risk that you might not do it properly and then you fall and then there is issues. But if you would have your own responsibility on that, maybe it'd be fine. Like, I would be very happy to pay less for the parts of an electric unicycle and then assemble it at home because I know how to do it. I have Loctite, I have the tools. I disassemble and assemble wheels without issues. So if it's easy enough, it would be cool to have the option to buy an electric unicycle that is pre-built or get it shipped like a Lego parts or more like an IKEA shelf. Next up, I would want to have a dropper post on this electric unicycle. If you don't know what a dropper post is, essentially, oh, how handy. Here's my pump. It's essentially a post on a bicycle. Like, imagine the seat being here. Can you see it? You can see it. Imagine the seat being here, and then you press on a button here or on a lever, and then the dropper post automatically goes up. And then if you sit on it and press the button, it will go down. It's very popular in mountain biking or like cross-country cycling. So this would be an awesome option to have a seat that is at the right height, so you don't need to sit down like on a toilet seat. And you would already also have a very, very sturdy handle if you hold on by the seat that is like extended. So a dropper post would be awesome for seated rides, for keeping the electric unicycle compact, sturdy, and oh my god, this dump truck. And also have a very good trolley handle at the same time. I think I'll wait for the truck to finish its business. Okay, so there will be some dump truck noises, but at least no beeps right now. Next up on the list, I have a foamy top. I don't know if you remember, there was the Bigode Master. I guess a lot of you guys still have that wheel. And it has a top of the wheel that is all foam. And this is so nice for comfort. And it also is very comfortable against your shin. So a foamy top would be very cool. And even the whole EUC made out of some protective foam as the outside layer like we have on a Bigode Future, that would be also really cool to like prevent any scratches that are almost inevitable and damage when you ride on an electric unicycle. Next up, I have the NOSFET screen or Libracum screen, but NOSFET has a nicer button layout. I would want that on my dream electric unicycle. It's just the best screen, always readable, very simple to use. That's what I want. When it comes to software, I would want this thing to be very adjustable. So probably I would want a mix of all of the electric unicycle softwares in it, but preferably I would want the Bigode software on it because it has the turning angle adjustment, so the pedals go down or up in turns according to what you select. Acceleration assist is not there in Bigode software, so that I would want from maybe Kingsong because it has noodle mode right now. And I would just want this thing to be very, very adjustable. So you actually can select all of the riding parameters that you want on your electric unicycle. Next up, I would want this thing to have a freaking key. Like e-bikes have keys, motorcycles have keys, house doors have keys. Why don't electric unicycles have a key? I would want this thing to just put it somewhere, take the key out, and done, and you go somewhere. Or have some sort of like easy to type in passcode or combination to activate the wheel. I don't want to always use the app And I think that the key would be actually the nicest thing to have on electric unicycles. Boop, you go right, boop, take it out. Next up, when it comes to pedals, I think that is something that is maybe a groundbreaking feature. Let me know in the comments if you think this way too. I would want this thing to have lock-out pedals. So currently on electric unicycles, the pedals fold up and then they fold down. But there is no mechanism to stop them from folding up. So when off-roading, I would want to lock the pedals up. So if you fall on the side, they don't fold into your foot when you fall. And on top of that, like when you crash, it's better to not have the pedals fold into your foot in general. A bonus thing here is that if you would have the pedals not fold up, you could add a sort of wheel accessory on the bottom of them. I think that's a feature that we had in some electric unicycles, like some beginner electric unicycles. And with the wheels, you could actually learn how to ride the electric unicycle easier, because if you would tip the wheel, if you would tip the electric unicycle when turning, you would have some sort of stable point and the pedals won't fold up, so you can just learn how to ride easier with those like training wheels per se. And then you could maybe adjust the height to make sharper turns, etc. So yeah, lock out Nylonov pedals, because Nylonov makes the best pedals and I would want them on my dream electric unicycle. Next up, I would want to have a adjustable front light, as we have on many electric unicycles nowadays. It would be perfect to have the light also balancing, so it, you know, goes up and down with a stepper motor when you ride. Grizzla already makes a light like that. I didn't use it yet, but I heard it's pretty cool. Or just have like a LED matrix sort of situation like you have in like newer cars. But the thing I do not want is a strong front light. At least I want to be able to choose if I have a strong front light or a weak light, because like the powerful lights that we have nowadays, they're just so blinding, and I feel bad for, you know, sometimes braking and then the light goes up and then it shines into the eyes of oncoming traffic. So it doesn't have to be bright. I just want to see a little bit more than I see without a light. Next up in the topic of lights, we have the taillight. Yeah, the taillight should be just a motorcycle style light like we have on the Emotion V11, V13, even V14, just to have it, you know, in one brightness when you ride and then blinking or getting brighter as you brake. I don't want turn signals, I don't want any fancy RGB patterns, just a normal light with a brake light. Simple as that. Next up, USB charging. I want to be able to charge my phone on the go, and I would want a Bluetooth speaker. Now I know it's a gimmick, but you know how often I use the F22 as my speaker at home? More often than I would like to admit to. So yeah, I would want to keep the Bluetooth speaker, maybe at least as a accessory, but I would want to have the option to have that. Further on, it would be cool to even have like a powerful USB-C outlet or even like a household socket on it, so you could power some peripherals, like you would have your, you know, portable power bank, like you have those Anker sort of big power banks that you can get. Next up, with the beautiful sounds of the dump truck in the background, I would want the sides to be flat and ergonomic, NOSFIT. How hard can it be, just a flat side? I would probably mount very thin pads on it just to keep the width very narrow. But yeah, flat sides. I don't want any S18 shit on that wheel. I don't want any Xeno side action on my wheel. No. Or maybe as a bonus feature, I would want the wheel to be very thin as a V10, because the thinner the wheel, the nicer the balance, because you're closer to the center of mass. So maybe that would be a bonus spec list. Next up, perfectly built mudguards. A thing that electric unicycle manufacturers have been struggling with for years. I want good mudguards that are integrated. I don't want to do anything with them. I want a long mudguard in the front, long mudguard in the back, just to have no hassle of, you know, wetting my pants not the way you think. Wetting my pants by the electric unicycle when I ride in rain. Further on, a good kickstand. Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to stick out a whole bit. Could be also just bumper in the front, and you put it on the front. Just something very simple and sturdy. On top of that, nice handles, especially the handle in the front. I have an awesome handle on the Kingsong F22, and this is very nice to grab when you ride seated. So yeah, nice handles to lift up the wheel. I would want a center handle as well, but this is not really possible with the dropper post foamy top combo. I don't know. My god, this dump truck. I'm really sorry, but I have to do the video now. I can't wait. So yeah, nice handles. And the last feature, I think the most important feature on the list, is a water ski boat mod. For years, I've wanted to ride an electric unicycle on water. And I think you can do it. Water is not that different from soil if you have enough speed on it. So I would want to have a motor with flaps, like could be even metal flaps, like one of those motocross bikes that have those sand dune tires. And if you go fast enough, I believe it will be possible to go on water. And then on top of that, you add water skis as the pedals to have just a bit more flotation on your electric unicycle. So yeah, I think this is the most important, reasonable feature I would put on my dream electric unicycle, the water ski mod. So with that said, what do you think about it, Gerald? Is this a good setup? Okay. Gerald is pretty quiet today, but if you have any opinion on my dream electric unicycle, let me know in the comments. And if you're still here, leave a like on the video. Subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. That'll be maybe a little bit more high value than this one. All right, see you soon.